Welcome to Sinister Heroes. I'm your host, Danny Iniquitous. Thank you for tuning in. If you're new to the channel, this is a channel about Dungeons and Dragons. We're trying to take a darker tone with everything we do here. So if you like edgier kind of content, definitely hit that like, share, and subscribe buttons. Check us out on Patreon, and a big thank you to all our Patreon supporters. If you're interested in becoming a Patreon supporter, the link is in the description. And a big thank you to our good friends at Dice Legion. Use the promo code Sinister, get 10% off all of your purchases. You can keep reusing this code. Definitely use that for all your ttrpg needs. Without further ado, we're going to jump into this week's video. We're going to talk about the Owlin. The Owlin come to us from Strixhaven, a curriculum of chaos. This is a relatively new book at this point. These Owlin are really new as a species or player character race, however you want to define it. And so there's really no lore to them. They just kind of are related to giant owls from the Feywild. And it really feels like they were just kind of scrapped together and thrown in. Full disclosure, don't like them. And I don't like them for really obvious reasons, which I'll probably get into somewhat to the video. But like a lot of things in Strixhaven, everything was kind of just thrown together. Everything seems so haphazardly put together, and there was a lot of issues with Strixhaven. A lot of things were going to be in it, and then they were removed, which caused a lot of confusion and kind of a letdown in a lot of things that happen in Strixhaven. But long story short, Strixhaven is the D&D version of Hogwarts. You have different schools, they teach you different things, and depending on how you're sorted, you would belong to a certain part of those schools, and it kind of gives you an adventure that goes throughout your entire curriculum there. So it's entertaining if you wanted to play Harry Potter like D&D, which a lot of people I imagine are probably into. But ultimately, this race just had no story. It had no lineage to it, no historical reference. They just exist in the world where Strixhaven is. They're native to there, and they look like owls. So your basic abilities are the ability score increase of +2/+1 that you can put wherever you like, which is great. A lot of the time I thought originally it was a bad idea, but then I grew to really fall in love with it. Your creature type is humanoid, so you don't get any special bonuses for being Fey or anything like that, though it does suggest that you are closely related to Fey. I think that's kind of a missed opportunity. Size, you can be medium or small, and that's an option you choose. Personally, I would never choose small, but I know a lot of people like the small folk. One of the bigger differences as to why the Owlin is statistically better than the Aarakocra is the walking speed is a little higher. Your regular walking speed is 30 feet, which is a benefit for you. And you do gain dark vision, so it's a big plus because as owls are nocturnal, you should be able to see in the dark. It's pretty straightforward, but nothing really too, impressive so far. Flight. Thanks to your wings, you have a flying speed equal to your walking speed. You can't use this flying speed if you're wearing medium or heavy armor. So this automatically sets you to kind of do a certain type of build. So a lot of casters are probably going to really like Owlin, and it kind of fits thematically that they would be wizards. So there you go. That's kind of the tie-in to the whole thing. You're an owl that can cast spells. It's basically what Strixhaven kind of gears you towards. Because again, you're not wearing medium or heavy armor, so that is a complication for being any kind of melee class. That being said, you do not have hover. So if you get knocked prone, or if an attack can knock you prone, you will plummet out of the sky. That's just something very important to note when you're considering flying characters. As the game has progressed, I gotta imagine at this point DMs are now not so in fear of flying player characters, because as long as you give your enemies, your combatants, some sort of ranged attack, they are no longer an invincible force. You can totally take them on and keep it fair and balanced. It's just something that your DMs have to see once or twice. Again, if you're playing a very low level campaign, this might be a little dangerous for you to consider as a DM, because you might feel out of place. But again, at low levels, 1 or 2 shots will take almost anything down. And since they can't wear medium or heavy armor, their AC is probably going to be pretty hittable. Silent Feathers. You have proficiency in the stealth skill. The thing is with this ability is if you're wearing light armor, the chances of you having or wanting proficiency in the stealth skill are probably pretty high. No matter what it is, if you're a rogue or if you're a dex fighter or if you're a warlock, Sorcerer, any one of those things, having dexterity is somewhat important to you. It increases your initiative count. It helps you with your AC. You're going to want stealth, most likely, just to get out of scenarios or try not be the one that triggers something. But do you really gain anything from this? And I really don't think you do, because most of the times if you're light armored or if you're a character that's not wearing armor, dexterity is pretty important to you anyway, and stealth is a very viable option for any kind of stealth, any kind of dexterity build, because it gives you something to do so you're not directly in trouble. You want to be silent, you want to be hidden, you want to be able to sneak away. That's a big part of being not a frontliner. So it's cool that you have it. It's not super impressive that you do, but I think a lot of the builds involving Owlin will probably have a lot of high dex anyway, so stealth is going to be one of those things you're probably thinking about picking anyway. So my big issue with the Owlin is, why would you pick the Owlin over the Aarakocra? And that's the issue I find. The Aarakocra have lore, they have story behind them, they have a lot of things that can pull them into the world of D&D, and the Owlin just don't. They just exist next to a school. And like, that's it. You do get a little bit better walking speed, you do get dark vision, and you do get proficiency in stealth. But I'd much rather be an Aarakocra. On top of all things else, a lot of the art that I see for the Owlin just seem lackluster. Not that there's a problem with the artist or I don't think their skill is good. I just don't find it, like, attractive. I don't find a certain level of strength or desire to be that kind of a character. So a lot of that leaves me feeling just like a missed opportunity. And a lot of that is kind of what I felt Strixhaven was like. It was just this big missed opportunity. There was a lot of great things you could have done with it, and it ended up just falling to the wayside. And unfortunately, the Owlin happens to be something that works in that way. Again, with Strixhaven, they had a lot of great, what I thought were subclasses that they could have used, but they didn't. Where multiple classes could be part of the same subclass. So you could have like wizards and druids and or warlocks and druids have the same subclass and be able to do the same thing, but still be within the bounds of druid and warlock separately. Like, I thought that was a really great thing, and ultimately it just didn't work out that way. But I felt like Owlin was just kind of like a ball dropped moment. Like, you had this race and you put nothing to their backstory. There's no purpose to them. They have no great heroes, no leadership. They just kind of just exist next to Strixhaven, and that's all there is to them. There's like, they try to tie it to the Feywild, which is great, but you could have put them in the Feywild story and put it together and have it be part of the circus and make them mischievous or make them mysterious or like watchers, but they didn't. Like, it's such a missed opportunity, and it breaks my heart to have them draw up and spend so much time on this and have it be so lackluster. It's just the Aarakocra with dark vision. That's it. And it just, to me, they don't look as cool. Like, it's unfortunate. But I really wish there was more to this species. Or at least lore-wise. If there was lore behind it, I would be totally behind it, because I happen to love the lore and I like that idea. But if you want to be a creeple owl person, it's very, very easy. Go Aberrantmind. Go Great Old One Warlock. Go Psionic Fighter. Go Arcane Trickster Rogue. Like, you can do a lot of great things by being this cloaked image of an owl just perched watching someone, and be deceptive, be manipulative, get in their minds. Like, you can do cool stuff like that, and it kind of puts everything in the Owlin into a great perspective, and that way you have a reason to be this nocturnal creature that watches everything so patiently and silently and just manipulates the world around them. But if you're not super into the owl, it kind of just brings you around into this kind of weird scenario where they don't give you enough to be great at anything, and they don't give you a reason to be pushed in any one kind of direction. So it's hard to justify that, because there's nothing in the lore saying, oh, you have to be wizards, because even that would give them, it's like some sort of arcane affinity or ability or reasoning or proficiency in arcane. It would have worked on so many levels, but ultimately this ended up being just a species that I just don't like, unfortunately. And I really hate to just dislike a creature. But that's gonna be it. This video is a little short, but we are working on something big, so this next video is gonna be a good one, I hope. So if you've made it this far, thank you so much. Please hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already. Definitely check us out on Patreon, and definitely check out our good friends at Dice Legion and use the promo code Sinister. Thank you guys so much for all your support. Thank you again to our Patreon supporters. We love you guys. Thank you for everything you do, and thank you for giving a spooky kid a chance.